So I have here another issue of Reader's Digest. I have read one in a video in the past, and I had mentioned that I have about 1,000,000 of these little magazines that I haven't read, and some of them are pretty old, and they're still in their packaging, waiting to be opened. So, I think this is the most recent issue that was sent. This is from this month, December of 2018. And so this one features all about Believe in Miracles, Real Life Stories of Hope. And so I'm just going to open this up and we'll take a look inside, and hopefully we'll have some nice stories to read. Okay? And of course I had to add this pretty blue candle. Alright, so in this issue we have, as I mentioned, Believe in Miracles, Real Life Stories of Hope. And there's a story about the church that wouldn't burn, Secrets of Holiday Shopping, that's a Reader's Digest original, A 4-Year-Old Hunger Activist by Claire Nowak, Unfreeze Your Brain from the book Elastic, The Man Who Rigged the Lottery, and 32 Brilliant Made-Up Words. And there's a lot more than that inside. So I know I won't read every single story, but let's see. There's the cover story, Real Life Miracles. This is from the Department of Wit, the best made-up words ever. This one is The Magic Trick That Changed My Life. Health and Medicine, The Lifesaver on Dad's Computer Screen. Military Life, You Own Every Bullet. And there's Inspiration, Luck and the 4-Leaf Clover. One Woman's Knack for Finding Good Fortune. And they always have some sort of true crime. This is about the man who rigged the lottery. He got hold of the winning numbers 5 times, but how? And what else? There's Dear Reader, letters. They always have Everyday Heroes, The Caped Crusader. This one's about Dog's Best Friend. entitled I Won the Chicken Wing Super Bowl, quotable quotes, and the how-to section, maintain your purpose in life. This is, let's see, The Miracle of Memory. It says, Dear Reader, as I hang the first ornament, I'm singing along with Eartha Kitt. I know I look like a fool in my Santa hat, belting out, Santa baby, but it's the Sunday before Christmas, tree dressing day. I've chosen the towering Bavarian stick skier in a red quilted jacket that my dad loved. Not right in front, it's dorky, Rachel protests. She is grown, a working nurse, but revisiting the OMG dad role of youth. When I was a kid, my mother had the Christmas tree bug, and I've taken the same silly joy in the ritual. I remember her holiday jazz albums, Jimmy Smith, Stan Getz, dropping from the stack onto the turntable as my 2 older brothers and I danced, quibbled, and dressed the tree. So I string the lights and build the fire, then let each ornament trigger smack talk and memories. The ugly glass owl, a memorial to Neil's obsessive hunting for owl pellets when he was a kid. I was a freaking Steve Irwin, he deadpans. The handmade sleeping kitty with a crack across it. My sweet mother-in-law Ruth glazed that in honor of our first cat. Only the ornament remains, glued and proud. Each object fills me with emotions I can't otherwise always tap. Our dear friends the Nashes sent the jaunty mini cowboy boot after they'd moved away from us to Texas. The tiny San Francisco Giants baseball in glass brings back the incredible day in 2010 when we all finally celebrated for real. Bent, awkward, or old ornaments join the pretty bulbs up front. We sing along with Luther Vandross, Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas, and I feel all the people and places life has lucked me with. And that's from Bruce Kelly, Editor-in-Chief. There's more letters. There's so many things here that I promise every single thing is nice to hear, but let's see. These are letters about the last issue. Let's read this one. Sympathy for my bully. I guess that was the article in the last issue. I was bullied from 6th to 8th grade. When I complained to our vice principal, she told me she didn't believe the young man would do such things. I recently learned that after being in and out of jail, my bully passed away of an overdose at 30 years old. I can't help but wonder, what if my report had been respected? Might it have opened a dialogue that would have helped him? As the author says, look at every bully and his or her victim, and you'll often find 2 kids who need help, not just one. That's a letter from a reader. How to conquer panic attacks. I had panic attacks for 28 years, took every prescription drug in the book, meditated, exercised, etc. 3 years ago, I went on a vegan diet, but continued to eat seafood because my nutritionist advised against quitting meat cold turkey. In 4 months, my panic attacks were gone. I have not had one since. This is about everyday heroes. A 4-year-old boy discovers that compassion for the less fortunate can produce superhuman results. Austin models his costume, which he created for those times he works with the needy. A short story here. Austin, it's either Perrin or Perrine, is not your typical superhero. Oh, sure, he looks the part, with his signature cape flapping against his blue shirt. He has an arch nemesis, as all good heroes must. He even uses a catchy name for his heroic alter ego, President Austin. But 2 things set this caped crusader apart. His adversary is not confined to the pages of a comic book. President Austin's foes, hunger and homelessness, are very real. Also, he's only 4 years old. Our hero's origin story started this past February in the Perrin family living room in Birmingham, Alabama. Austin and his father, TJ, were watching a program on Animal Planet about a mother panda leaving her cubs. I told him that the cubs would be homeless for a while. TJ says, Austin didn't know what homelessness meant, but he was sad and wanted to know more. Seeing this as a teachable moment, TJ took Austin to the Firehouse Ministries, a local shelter that provides housing, food, and other services for chronically homeless men. As they drove by the red brick building, they saw a group of 25 homeless men standing on the street corner. Dad, they look sad, Austin said. Can we take them some food and make them smile? That day, Austin used his allowance to buy each man a Burger King sandwich and handed the food out himself. Seeing what their presence meant to the men at the ministry, Austin and TJ returned the next week. Austin again dipped into his piggy bank to buy sandwiches, which he handed out along with his new catchphrase, "Don't forget to show love." After he returned every week for 5 weeks, word of Austin's acts of kindness spread through social media and national news outlets. Burger King jumped aboard, agreeing to donate $1,000 a month for an entire year toward the cause. Soon, churches and shelters across the country began inviting Austin to come distribute food in other poverty-prone areas. He'll have visited at least 15 locations by the end of this year, including Skid Row in Los Angeles and parts of Puerto Rico affected by Hurricane Maria. But Austin isn't just filling bellies, he is improving the lives of those he meets. On that first trip to Firehouse Ministries, TJ and Austin talked to a man named Raymond, who was estranged from his family. The respect Austin bestowed on 41-year-old Raymond touched the man, and he shared with TJ just how grateful he was to be treated so considerately by a 4-year-old stranger. Austin's passion has now become his family's calling. After raising money through a GoFundMe page, Audrey established the Show Love Foundation, a nonprofit dedicated to fighting homelessness. She now serves as president, and TJ left his job as a project manager for a hospital chain to oversee public relations for the foundation full time. He's in talks with the city of Birmingham to secure the red brick building where it all started. Firehouse Ministries is moving as the site of their own shelter, which would offer medical and mental health care as preventative steps against homelessness. As for President Austin, he continues to give out food, smiles, and his inspirational message of love. It makes me feel like I'm saving the day. Let's see this one here. Life in these United States. On the phone with my 93-year-old brother in Wisconsin, and I told him I thought it was time he paid someone to shovel snow for him. He suddenly grew indignant. Why should I pay someone to shovel? He demanded. I can get my son to do it. He's only 70. The next one says, all I'm saying is, if we had a dungeon, my wife would decorate it with throw pillows. This one says, today I was at the doctor's office. Because I'm a teenager, I was required to take a survey about drugs, alcohol, and sex. It asked whether I was in a gang. I wrote, marching band. These are quotable quotes. Discipline shows who you really are. To control yourself, that is the ultimate power. That's from Kendrick Lamar. If somebody asks, what are you doing in 5 years, and you have an answer, I think there's a good chance you aren't going to get there. If you pick one thing, then you've neglected all other opportunities. And that was Darla Moore. That's not my problem. It's possibly the worst thing people can think. That's from Atul Gawande. I'm not saying that right. A surgeon. I have no social media. I don't need things in my life to distract me from my life. That's Paul Rudd. If you can affect someone when they're young, you are in their hearts forever. That's Mara Wilson. She's an actor. The speaker at my high school commencement concluded by asking us whether we would explore and develop the spiritual part of our identity throughout our lives, or wait for illness or advancing age to force a crash course. Ultimately, I came to the conclusion that this is the most important question of all. This is from Francis S. Collins, the director of the National Institutes of Health. Mental toughness is the ability to see the bright side of a hopeless situation. Adversity is an experience, not a final act. That's from George Raveling, basketball coach. Nature is the biggest teacher. She's always teaching you how to adapt. That's by Giselle Bundchen. This last one here, point to ponder. People don't come to rock shows to learn something. They come to be reminded of something they already know and feel deep down in their gut. It's the reason true rock and roll will never die. That's from Bruce Springsteen. Let's see, this one is how to maintain your purpose in life. Start each year by writing it down anew. Your ever-changing answers may help you live longer and better. Every January for the past 20 years, I've taken a few moments to ponder the answer to the big question, what is the meaning of life? It's one of those enormous questions that is so important, philosophically and practically, in terms of how we live our lives. And yet we never stop to really think about the answer. Given that you might be able to formulate your response in less than a minute, the wisdom to effort ratio for this philosophical exercise could not be more advantageous. I tend to ponder such things as the creator of the Wisdom Project, a collection of writings about the wisdom in everyday life experiences. Doing this simple exercise might even help you live longer, according to 2 separate studies published in 2014. And that article goes on a little more, but down below here, readers share what brings meaning to their lives. One person says, spreading warmth, helping those in need. I make blankets for children's hospitals, pet blankets for animal shelters, and shawls for the elderly. And someone else said, collecting memories, not stuff. Stop buying trinkets that give you momentary pleasure. Rather, make memories that will last a lifetime. Travel and visit as many places as you can. Reconnect and build friendships, and take plenty of photos along the way. Memories have given me much more long-lasting happiness than any physical object can bring. Another person says, building literacy. I truly believe we can change the world one person at a time, which is why I became a literacy volunteer. Nothing is more memorable than the look in the eyes of an adult when he or she reads for the first time. You know, for as long as they live, they will remember you. That's nice. And this one here says, savoring everything. The meaning of life became clear to me after watching my parents battle short illnesses and pass away a mere 6 weeks apart. My faith told me they were in a better place, but I was feeling sorry for myself and my family. I gradually came to believe that our time on this earth is short, and we never know when it will end. So while we are here, we need to live it to the fullest. Take time to sit on the deck and watch the sunset. Stay up late during the week to visit with a friend. Who cares if you're tired at work the next day? Use those vacation days and let the dishes sit in the sink so you can watch your kids play ball. As they say, don't sweat the small stuff, and it's all small stuff. If we aren't enjoying life, then what's the point? Something that's easy to forget. There's a couple more examples here. Another person here says, empowering others. Growing up with a disability, I was subject to discrimination and what is now called bullying. All I wanted was the equal opportunity to pursue my dreams, empowering others to pursue theirs through teaching, advocacy, and the practice of law is what brings meaning to my life. Playing as a team. My husband coaches high school tennis. In a preseason conditioning run, the lone freshman new to the team was falling behind. One of the older boys left his spot with the pack to go back and run with the new boy, encouraging him not to give up. To me, the meaning of life includes exactly this: eyes that see those falling behind, and hearts motivated to do something about it. The last two here. Every day I try to do something for someone, whether human or animal. Take spiders outside into their natural habitat. Rescue stray dogs. Tell someone they are beautiful or worthy. Coax a turtle to water. Hold the hand of a dying person. Plant flowers and trees. Take care of the environment. Honor people of other cultures. Try to be caring. And this last one here, cherishing connections. First, we are someone's child, then a sibling, a friend, a spouse, a parent. Who we are to others defines us and gives us meaning in life. Oh, there's so many examples here. This is World of Medicine. Some articles about early diners are healthier. A blood test that may warn of Alzheimer's sooner. Treat glaucoma while you sleep. Sensitive toothpaste isn't enough. And the 16-8 diet works. There's one about how overhead light kills the flu. It's a study they did. And this one about antibiotics may foster kidney stones. The gift of a great neighbor. So let's see, this is the one about holiday money savers that work all year. This down here says, what are the chances? In Belgium's St. Symphorien Military Cemetery, the grave belonging to the first British soldier, I can't say that, to the first British soldier killed in World War I, directly faces the grave of the last British soldier killed in World War I. The placement was completely accidental. Let's see. I am the food on your plate. Potatoes, all eyes on me. The world's dream starch. It's all about potatoes. This is the All-American Christmas Tree Edition. pagans and Romans used evergreen trees in winter festivities long before the birth of Christianity, but it took American ingenuity to light up the idea and bring it home for the holidays. The Germans lit the earliest Christmas trees with candles, which had the dual disadvantage of being messy from the dripping wax and dangerous. In 1882, Edward H. Johnson, a vice president and inventor at Thomas Edison's Electric Light Company, hand-wired strings of the company's new electric bulbs, 80 red, white, and blue bulbs in total, and layered them on the tree in his Manhattan home. By 1903, General Electric was selling sets of pre-strung Christmas lights to the masses for $12. That's more than $300 in current dollars. Let's see, we found a fix. 9 tricks to improve your life. Get your water past airport security. Brighten up your Christmas tree. It says most people spiral their Christmas tree lights from the bottom to the top, but you lose some sparkle that way. If you go around in a circle long ways, the lights tend to go in. To keep the bulbs closer to the tips of the branches, they say to hang the lights vertically. Start by tucking the part of the string that doesn't have a plug on the top of the tree, and then weave your way down the branches in a bit of an S formation. How to keep your bananas fresh. Wait until they have started to soften and then toss them in the refrigerator. Clean your teeth with food. It says there's a reason apples are known as nature's toothbrush. Foods that are firm or crisp help clean teeth as they're eaten. If you know you won't be able to brush your teeth right after eating, you might want to save a cleaning food for the end of your meal. Other choices include raw carrots, celery, and unbuttered popcorn. Freshen your coffee grinder. Help your laptop survive a bath. Let's see, this is about how to get a free gym membership. Save time cleaning the fish tank. And deodorize your bathroom naturally. Let me see this one. Looking for a way to eliminate icky bathroom smells that doesn't require a daily spray? Place 5 or so drops of any essential oil on the inside of the cardboard toilet paper roll and voila! Every time someone grabs the paper, the movement will reactivate the pleasant but not over-the-top scent. Just be careful that the oil doesn't get on the paper itself, which comes in contact with some sensitive areas. This is laughter. Laughter is the best medicine. This one says, car commercials grossly overestimate how much time I spend driving around in the desert. An Englishman, a Frenchman, a Spaniard, and a German are watching a street performer. The performer suddenly realizes that these men have a poor view, So he gets on a small platform. "Can you all see me now?" he asks them. They respond, "Yes, we see, yeah." Here are some real-life miracles. This one is about the church that wouldn't burn. My stepfather Marlin bought a dancing Christmas tree in the mid-2000s as a gimmick decoration. Marlin passed away in 2014, and my sister Stacy took possession of the tree. Stacy got engaged to her longtime boyfriend on Thanksgiving night. The tree was unpacked, but it had no batteries. Later that evening, with all the ladies sitting around talking, the tree lit up and started to dance. The empty battery pack was in hand, and the only conclusion we could reach was that Marlin was sending his blessings and dancing a jig. This one is called Sunny in the Sky. It was my first time flying alone since my husband Sunny had passed away. In spite of my fears, I decided to go. I asked God for guidance. When we flew together, Sunny and I would each buy a drink with our meal. In exchange for my drink, my husband would give me his dessert. In the middle of this solo trip, I realized I had not eaten my dessert. When I looked down at it, I couldn't believe what I saw. Printed in bold letters on the little round tinfoil cover were the words, "Sunny's Ice Cream." Just little things like that. This one is called The Magic Key. The year was 1956. My first husband and I, and our 9-month-old baby Pam, moved from St. Louis to Fort Worth, Texas. He had a job there and his family lived close by. We found a lovely apartment and settled in quickly. One chilly morning, I headed for the laundromat. I turned on the engine of our 1953 Chevy to warm up the car and put Pam in her car seat, which back then was in the front seat. I locked the car door, then I put the basket of laundry in the back seat and locked the other door. Suddenly I realized I had locked the keys and my baby in the car and locked myself out. I immediately went into panic mode. My neighbors had both gone to work and there were no cell phones back then. As I looked up the street, I saw a red Ford pickup driving toward me. The driver stopped when he saw me crying and waving my hands. The man on the passenger side of the truck got out and said, "I have a car just like this one. Let me see if my key will open the door." It did. I've told so many people that God was the passenger in a red Ford pickup in October 1956. The life-giving touch. So this is the section called Laugh Lines. says, call me crazy, but dropping the ball does not sound like a good way to start off the new year. I don't know who's worse, the people who sign their cats' names on Christmas cards or the cats who refuse to sign. Now these are the best made-up words ever. Universe. Y-O-U. Universe. The immediate environment of the terminal narcissist. So it's just a list of A to Z words. Let's see. Says, ladies and gentlemen, please fasten your hula hoops. To help launch their new product in 1958, executives from the Wham-O company started carrying early versions of the hula hoop on airplane trips with them. Hoping that passengers would ask about the odd toy, it worked. Americans bought more than 20 million hula hoops in 6 months. Humor in uniform. Let's see. At the outpatient surgery center where I work, the anesthesiologist chats with patients before their operations to help them relax. One day, he thought he recognized a woman as a co-worker from the VA hospital where he had trained. When the patient confirmed that his hunch was correct, the anesthesiologist said, "So tell me, is the food there still as bad as it used to be?" And she responded, "I suppose I'm still cooking it." And then this one here says, our home number is very close to one at Fort Leonard Wood in Missouri, and we often get calls meant for them, like this one. And then it says caller. This is, and then it gives the military rank and name. I'm at the St. Louis airport. When is someone going to pick me up? Me. I'm sorry, you have the wrong number. Caller. Isn't this? And then he says the phone number. Me. Close, but we're hundreds of miles away from the airport. Caller. After a pause. So you don't know who's going to pick me up? This is about the magic trick that changed my life. is about the lifesaver on Dad's computer screen. A daughter caring for her aging father finds help and peace of mind from a virtual companion named Pony. And this is about all in a day's work. Let's see. I'm a nurse in a hospital's children's ward. One night I was at the nurse's station when I heard a little boy in his room talking. He kept the patter up for some time. Finally I got on the intercom and said, softly but firmly, "All right, Johnny, it's time to go to sleep now." There was quiet in the room, and then he said, "Okay, God, I will." I didn't hear a peep from him until morning. Oh, my goodness. It says, everyone hates millennials until it's time to convert a PDF into a Word document. This is Luck and the Four-Leaf Clover. One woman's knack for finding good fortune. When I was in the 3rd grade, we had a scavenger hunt at school. We gathered up chalk, pencils, stones, and poorly hidden tchotchkes, rapidly filling our checklists. It was a very close race. I was out of breath when I reached the clover patch in search of the last, most hard-to-find item, a 4-leaf clover. I was pretty sure that I was going to win. I had a trump card. The thing is, I've always been able to find 4-leaf clovers. I just see them. I spent my childhood collecting and pressing 4-leaf clovers into books at my mother's house. I started with big cloth and leather-bound books. So, I won't read every word, but it looks like she shares all of her clovers with other people. She says, people disagree about whether the luck lies in the finding or in the possession of a clover. Some believe that the luck is lost if the 4-leaf clover is even shown to somebody else, while others think the luck doubles if it is given away. I believe that positivity is compounded by sharing. I feel lucky to find the clovers so often, but I don't think they influence my life any more than it does to share anything a little special. That momentary closeness between you and a friend or a stranger as you all lean in to wonder at a rare find. And she says, what is luck anyway? Does it mean you can't take credit for the things that happened to you? Should I have kept all the clovers I found instead of giving them away? I believe that there is casual magic in everyday acts. It's lucky simply to know what it is to seek out and love a genetically deformed clover, to know how to treasure difference. Every time I see a patch of clover, I feel a compulsion to search that cannot be satisfied until I hold a 4-leaf clover in my hands. She says, I had always thought that being a simple genetic anomaly, 4-leaf clovers would be fairly common. I have since learned that 1 in 10,000 clovers has 4 leaves. It could be the result of a recessive gene, a somatic mutation, the influence of the environment, or any combination of the three. But isn't this where science meets magic? She says she passes them on to mothers in parks who show them to their wide-eyed kids. I delivered one to the man at my corner store where it hangs above the register. Friends slip them between the business cards in their wallets for safekeeping. And she talks about how she finds them. And she says, that day in 3rd grade, I dived into the clover patch, skimming the surface with my hands, softening my eyes to look for irregularities. It took only moments for a 4-leaf clover to fall into my fingers, just like that. Whatever little toy I won that day, my real prize was the gateway that the simple act of looking for clovers opened for me into a lifetime of joy derived from looking closely, the magic of nature coming up as it pleases. And this is the true crime section, the man who rigged the lottery. He got hold of the winning numbers 5 times. That's a long one. And this is the section about how to unfreeze your brain. Can you use these items to attach the candle to the wall and light it? Step 1 is to jettison tired thinking patterns which derail even the most intelligent among us. Let's see, this is in life, once on a path, we tend to follow it for better or worse. What's sad is that even if it's the latter, we often accept it anyway because we are so accustomed to the way things are that we don't even recognize that they could be different. This is a phenomenon psychologists call functional fixedness or fixedness. This classic experiment will give you an idea of how it works and a sense of whether you may have fallen into the same trap. People are often given a box of tacks and some matches and asked to find a way to attach a candle to a wall so that it burns properly. Typically, the subjects try tacking the candle to the wall or lighting it to affix it with melted wax. The psychologists had, of course, arranged it so that neither of these obvious approaches would work. The tacks are too short and the paraffin doesn't bind to the wall, so how can you accomplish this task? The successful technique is to use the tack box as a candle holder. You empty it, tack it to the wall, and stand the candle inside it. To think of that, you have to look beyond the box's usual role as a receptacle just for tacks, and reimagine it serving an entirely new purpose. That is difficult because we all suffer to one degree or another from functional fixedness or fixedness. The inability to think in new ways affects people in every corner of society. The political theorist Hannah Arendt coined the phrase frozen thoughts to describe deeply held ideas that we no longer question but should. In Arendt's eyes, the complacent reliance on such accepted truths also made people blind to ideas that didn't fit their world view, even when there was ample evidence for them. Frozen thinking has nothing to do with intelligence, she said. It can be found in highly intelligent people. And there's a lot more interesting information in that one. And then it gives you some tips on how to think outside the box. In addition to being open to dissenting opinions, here are some techniques that could help broaden the way you think. Change environments. Look as if you've never seen. Vive la différence. The mere presence of individuals from different backgrounds with different points of view in your everyday life creates an atmosphere in which people can better respond to change. Shift into positivity. It says, unlike negative emotions that trigger specific reactions, for example, fear propels us to flee, positive emotions prompt us to broaden our attention, explore our environment, and open ourselves to absorbing information. Take a few moments to think about the things in your life that are going well and for which you are grateful. This will automatically brighten your mood and free your brain. It says talking to people who disagree with you is good for your brain. And then there's some brain games. So they have some different riddles and little mystery things you have to solve and crosswords and things like that. And then there's always this section of word power. Says you're busy at this time of year, so we made this quiz as easy as ABC. All these words include those letters in order. You'll find this aerobic mental exercise more fun if you don't fabricate the answers, which are on the next page. So there's a list of words that maybe are lots of people have never heard before, and you have to guess the answer. And then they always have some sort of interesting photo. and they ask the readers to caption the picture. That was the one for this time. So, and this one must have showed up in the last issue, and these are the entries that people sent in. Someone captioned this photo. The winner is this one. Quick, take the picture before those cute humans move. That's cute. And the runners up. Mate Happy, the Loch Ness Squirrel. And the other one. And here we find the elusive humans in their natural habitat.